Dun, dun, dun. Does that mean we're live? We're live. The chat group. Let's see if the chat group can hear us. Can you guys hear everything? Tyler, of course, is here.
Oh, see, I can't see.
You can't see the comments?
Oh, I did private chat. Oh, there we go.
Ah, there. Yeah. Thanks for.
All right. Can you see him too, Dustin?
Yeah, I see him now. I was on private chat as well. So yeah, everything looks good now.
All right. We hear you. They hear us.
I can't chat back because I'm not signed in. Hi, guys.
Oh, do you want to sign in? I think you can.
Oh, I'll mess something up. No.
All right. So what we've decided is as far as us on the chat. Oh, first of all, hey, everybody. It's me, it's Megan, and it's Dustin. You guys know Dustin. We're super excited to have him here. Like you guys know we do. This is we're completely winging it. So Megan and I will not be in the chat. I popped in a cough drop right before we started.
That's fine.
It's pretty cool. So Megan and I probably won't be interacting with the chat at all. If you guys want to say hi, we'll say hi back if we catch it. Oh, look, Bennett, my nephew's there and said, "Hi, Megan. It's me, Bennett." He didn't even say hi to me.
Oh.
Hi, Bennett.
Hi, Bennett.
That's my nephew in Illinois. So Dustin, you can hop in the chat all you want. Feel free. Megan and I will probably just focus on talking and replying if we see, but Megan's not signed in on that side. So there we go. So anyway, welcome, Dustin. How's it going, buddy?
It's so awesome to see all these names I know in the chat. Like I've never been on a live stream where I know almost everybody. This is great.
It's pretty wild because most of the names I'm seeing popping up over there are people that actually have questions in the index cards here. So it's good to see that a lot of them could join in and possibly hear some of their questions answered by Scotty and Megan.
Awesome.
I want to say thank you. Well, everybody's on here. I want to say thanks, Scotty and Megan, for offering this opportunity. This is a very exciting opportunity for me personally. It's kind of surreal to be on here with Scotty and Megan after watching them on their live videos do their thing. So,
well, we appreciate you. Just to let everybody know how this came about. Obviously, we are aware of the group and how awesome it is and how fun it is. And we watched the Scotties here one day while we were packing and drawing and everything.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah. And we're like, man, we got to do something. Dustin's so awesome and does such a great job with everybody there and the whole group. And so we're like, we really got to figure out something to do with them or do something for them or whatever. And I was like, we threw out random ideas. I can't even remember what some of them were, but eventually I was like, we should just get them on a live stream and get questions from the group and just have some fun and hang out. We thought that would be the best kind of thing, like give back to the group after all the awesomeness that you've done and the group has done, which is, I mean, I pop in there every now and then and troll. I don't know if I should say that or not, but they're really, really great. Never mind, guys. I never go in there, but we really appreciate you, dude.
Well, thank you. Thank you all for saying that. And hopefully I've actually wrote down all the questions here or printed them out. And I practice saying people's names. I like listen to them on YouTube to make sure I don't screw up.
That's dedication. I love
it. I figured we'd tee up Scotty with a softball here for the first. This is from Jamie Stout. And there's also William Uditsky asked this question as well. But favorite character to draw?
My favorite character to draw is Gert, my character for sure. Hands down. That's an easy one.
I figure we'd ease into them. They get worse or better.
We started digging
more
into some
thought-provoking.
archives.
I'm sorry.
We dug into some archives and posted some early Gert the other day.
Yeah. And then I showed you that early Gert sketch where I hadn't even figured out how to draw Larry quite yet.
The early Larrys are really funny.
Look like a weird green minion.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think those are the most fun. Whenever I see those pop up, any of them that have like some of the process behind it and the thought of how you designed the character or what it originally looked like, those are a lot of those posts are the ones I enjoy seeing whenever they pop up like it.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
All right. This is a still from Jamie Stout and also Maggie Crandall kind of dovetail into this one. But will there be any additional collabs with Neil Gaiman? And that was Jamie Stout, the rest of her question. And Maggie Crandall asked, I would love to ask what's your favorite Neil Gaiman work, and outside of Fortunately the Milk, can't use that one. I would generally also just love to hear the story of how he was asked to draw for Neil Gaiman or vice versa, or what happened that brought that into existence.
Will I work with Neil Gaiman again? He keeps begging me, but I'm like, I don't know.
someday.
No, honestly, there was a project I was supposed to do and was signed on to do it a million years ago, like right after we got done. But he went off and, show running shows and the whole nine. So I think that's long gone, maybe. I'm not sure. My favorite Neil Gaiman work is not just my favorite Neil Gaiman work, but it's my favorite book of all time is The Ocean at the End of the Lane. It's a very short kind of novella. I love it. Or novelette. I don't know what they call those anymore, but
novellas, right?
Novella. Yeah. It's my favorite. It's my favorite Neil Gaiman work, probably followed by, I love The Graveyard Book and Neverwhere. Those are kind of,
The Graveyard Book is what I'm getting ready to start. I haven't read it yet.
Graveyard Books. Oh yeah, you got that? Did we get that at the bookstore that one day on your birthday? Or did we order it?
No, I think I ordered it.
Okay,
can't remember.
So those are my favorite works, and then how that came about. Fortune of the Milk came about. Something similar to this, a Q&A one night in 2009. My first son Baxter was born. And in those first weeks, I took the first couple of weeks off work, and Twitter was pretty new back then. And I would do on Tuesday nights, I would do like Q&As and so Baxter was born, and I would sit there and rock him for hours and feed him bottles. So while I was doing that and he was sleeping, because you don't want to, you're just like, they're sleeping, don't move. With my other hand, I would just do Q&As on Twitter. And somebody asked me are there any writers that I haven't worked with that I would like to? At the time, I had only just kind of met in passing Jason Aaron. Like we had met at a bar at Chicago Wizard World, but literally like, this is Jason. Hi, met, nice to meet you, fan, and that's it. But I loved Scalped, and I don't what else was going on at the time. I think he was writing. I can't remember what he's writing at Marvel, but I loved his work. And so I said, Jason Aaron, and my favorite novelist was Neil Gaiman. So those two people. What we didn't know is all these years later, Jason would be one of my best friends, that I'd be living in Kansas City because of him and living a mile from him. Still not working with him though. Directly, do covers and stuff for his books now. Yeah. But Neil Gaiman, enough fans kind of like replied back to that thread to me and Neil, that then Neil DM'd me, slid up in my DMs, and gave me his number and said, hey, yeah, we should do a book. We should do a project together. So I called him because he had seen the Oz books and loved them, which I was working on at the time. And he just said, hey, I'm getting ready to get married. He wasn't married to Amanda Palmer yet. And said kind of busy right now, but if the right project pops up at the right time, then we'll hop on that. And about a year and a half later, Fortunately the Milk, he hit me up, and it was on. So we kept in touch over that course of that year. And I really thought that first call would just be like, I've been through that before, where like, no, we'll totally do a project. And then you just walk away going, cool, man, I got to talk to Neil Gaiman. That was cool enough. But no, it became a real thing about a year and a half later.
Well, have there been any that, you said that just receiving the call was cool enough, but have there been any big or big guys like that, writers that have contacted you, then it's been longer than a year, that you kind of like pinched yourself and they called you back to get that opportunity?
No, because I haven't done that. Around that time, after Oz, I didn't really work with the writers anymore. I really started writing around that time. I started writing stories on the side with Oz. So I really focused on writing myself, but, yeah, for the most part, it was just, we're always sitting around, like me and Hickman would talk and be like, yeah, I'll do that. Or, me and Fraction, I think me and Matt Fraction had a book for a while. Like when we're all sitting around, we all come up with something, and we're all like, we're definitely doing this. And then, it's just us running our mouths.
Well, I think writing for yourself has paid off pretty well. Your big announcement today, we'll get to that hopefully in a little bit.
Oh, awesome.
That was all right. Robert Garcia had asked, any character in the comic universe that you have never drawn but would love to? I'm assuming cover, daily sketch, whatever. You can kind of have that one wide open.
I guess I would add professionally to the question,
right?
Because I don't know that there's anybody that I haven't drawn at some point. It would be cool to draw. I mean, some DC villains, like officially, you know, like some Joker and Clayface. Basically, the whole Batman Rogues gallery would be my jam.
Well, that series you did a while back, it was like, man, those were tailor made for DC covers. It's just like, I've got the Poison Ivy's actually hanging up over there, and there's a Two-Face.
Cool. We're working on it. We're definitely knocking at the door, trying to get them to let us do them.
Oh, that's insane. That's even. They should be knocking at your y'all's door after seeing the Batman cover.
Well, they kind of are. We didn't want to say that,
but modesty. Yeah. William Uditsky had one other question, and I apologize for kind of browsing over it. But what's the most unique sketch request you've gotten? And I hear a lot of these in the YouTube lives, and it's some of them that you may not have wanted to draw, that it was just too odd or unique enough that you had to draw it.
I don't know. Can you think of some?
The most unique?
Yeah.
I mean, when you had a commission list, there's some.
Sometimes the daily sketches will be like a dinosaur talking on the phone to a blah blah blah, like some sort of extreme scenario. So I don't know if it's I don't know that I'd call that unique. I don't get a lot of weird requests. So it's just not a. I mean, it either clicks with me right away, or like Megan will tell you, like it's either like yup or no. Like she'll read the request, and it's not a long conversation. She'll like when we did do a commission list, she's like blah blah blah, nope, blah blah, yeah, no. The
Megan filter goes through and like we
right.
It's good to have a filter like that. All right, this question is actually for Scotty and Megan both. The Whatnot shows were such a hit last year, and Randy Melton, his was more of a statement. A Whatnot with OA for sale would be great. And Stephen Lee had asked, have you thought about doing a live show on Whatnot with Q&A and live auctions? So they may have missed the announcements in the group, but there were 2 shows last year that were really good. Will there be any shows in 2024?
I don't know, but here I'm going to interrupt you because this is how we roll. Seriously, you come in. This is how we roll. No shit. This
is who delivers your packages every day.
Yeah, that's Danny.
Hey,
Yo, you can cuss. You can cuss. So Dustin runs a Facebook group, a really great Facebook group, and tonight, as a thank you to him, we were having him on live to do fan questions. And this is who picks up all your packages and makes sure they get to you.
That's a round of applause for her more than me.
Man around here. Yeah.
Let's get Dustin off here and bring her in. She's the MVP.
All right.
Tomorrow.
Bye, Danny.
Bye, Danny. No, you got.
Oh, yeah, we do.
We have 3 tubs.
Look at that. 3 tubs going out.
Holy cow.
I love it. I love that everybody on here is getting to see legit. What time is it? 6:12. Look.
Wow.
Like legit still shipping stuff out. Thank you, Danny. Have a great night.
Draw me as the whole.
Yeah, Lexon. Bye. All right. So would we do Whatnot? Right now we don't have any plans for Whatnot at the moment. We've talked about.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of. We have such a robust business here.
Yeah.
It took me and John away from shipping our regular stuff
for weeks.
Yeah, it's a lot of setup.
It's a lot of setup. It's also setting up in a completely different mechanism than what we've already got set up. So it's a different purchasing system, different shipping system, different label system. There's just a lot of difference.
And also a lot of same customers. We found like we were actually selling to you guys on Whatnot, but then we couldn't talk to you direct because everything goes through. Anyway, they were super. It was great, but it probably won't be our regular. Yeah,
we here's the thing. We are looking into doing something very similar, but like you guys know that we do, just make it ours. Like do it, kind of. We love that interaction. We love that live thing. We love the energy of it. We just want to kind of figure out how we can do that and plug it into our current machine. That way, I know that Megan really felt disconnected because there's a wall, like they all of a sudden put up a wall between us and the customer, which you guys know that we don't have.
Well, it's hard to know because there's no name attached. It's just a username.
Right.
But someone would email me on the side and say, "Oh, I bought that." I'm like, "Oh, well, you're a regular customer."
Right.
I wish I could talk to you about this, anyway.
You can tell how kind of unsavvy I am with that, because my name on Whatnot's Dustin Whitney, and all these other people have these creative names. I'm like, man, I missed the boat on this. Very unoriginal on my part, but I understand. As I was watching your all's Whatnot show as it was unfolding, I went over to the sold bracket, and it was like 500 items sold on that first one.
Yeah.
I was like, holy cow, they're going to have
I was a wreck during Dustin. You asked what makes Scotty nervous. I was a wreck trying to produce that show and get ready for it. But that's my type A.
Yeah.
Came out full
and
force.
That's what I was like. I don't know. Hey guys.
I saw John cry a couple times.
That's sad. I mentioned to Megan, we was talking about the type A and the structure, and I was like, there was one YouTube video that I was kind of watching for the structure, and there, like, Scotty had came on and was setting stuff up for 5 minutes, and there was no sound, there was nothing, and he was as cool, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, dead air is like a killer, but it did not bother you at all, Scotty, and that was very impressive to be able to sit there and do that.
I'm just like, it's been doing this a long time, just like panels.
It would still kill me. I don't want any dead air.
And I know Scotty wasn't nervous, but I was nervous for him. I was sitting there and like, oh, Scotty, talk. Come on, we got
Tyler's in the comments saying he wishes he'd given more pizza money.
Oh God.
We ordered. Yeah. We had so much pizza.
We did.
Thank you, Tyler, and anybody who sent pizza money.
Very cool thing. The question to go with Whatnot, and you all have already answered, you are kind of getting away from, or not really looking for that platform, but Dan Wilkinson had asked, are there any plans to get shipping back to the UK? And you probably get asked this question at least once a week, probably more. And one of the things that he had said, I see all these awesome items right away, but no way to purchase them. And then he said he did buy from the Whatnot store while it lasted. Would you all ever set up a permanent Whatnot shop to drop exclusives on for international fans? But it sounds like from what you all had already answered, that may just lead to hundreds of shipments a week on the side that would probably take away from your normal operations.
That's not a terrible idea. I will look into that a little bit more and see if it's a possibility. We have been directing people to use a third-party shipping service like Stackery. And while we're not affiliated with them at all, there's no I've never spoke with anybody there. And I know there's a couple others. We have never heard one issue or complaint. And we get orders because we recognize addresses and we know the Stackery address and we know how many customers are using it. And it's going smoothly just using a service like that. The red tape involved for small businesses is huge.
Yeah.
I know some people are shipping internationally. For us, there's a burden of taxes and paperwork that we just haven't. Yeah, there's taken on.
And you start to get situations where packages are getting over there, but then sitting and not being picked up, and then and then there's a lot of logistics that are unseen to everybody else that are tough since the Brexit situation and VAT taxes and all that kind of stuff. Just really fun information.
That's what we're looking for here.
Yeah.
All right. The last question before the question that I think I've been waiting. I'm more excited about than any of them, but this is another one for the UK. That's why I wanted to kind of group this together. But Gerard Kearney, and he's got a joke. Really, Scotty, you should come to England sometime if that's possible. I won't charge you much to have your picture taken with me. No, but seriously, I'm a professional dog trainer and would love to see you do a cover of the most famous dog, Lassie. He says, fingers crossed.
Ooh.
Any plans to go to England for a con anytime soon?
All right. We don't have any on the books, but there's always what the Thought Bubbles over there, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're invited to Thought Bubble. Right. Your schedule keeps you doing.
Yeah, it's so tough. It's tough to hop around, and we try to be picky and choosy, but never say never.
I personally would love. What if I just go?
Sure. Go for it.
I'll bring the merch.
You can do the rep over there, yeah. All right. This question's from Tony James Hicks. And who's your favorite character draw? We've already answered that one. But the other question that's kind of more pertinent. Are you allowed to tell us if you did a Spider-Punk cover for the upcoming miniseries? Scotty, Megan?
there's a new Spider-Punk series.
Can I do a drum roll?
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, a drum roll. Yes,
that's official.
I think we have done one, right?
I think there's something on my books
that's
coming up that says we have a Spider-Punk cover. You guys are going to be the very first. I don't know how many people are on here, but not a ton. Like these.
There we go.
There we go. You guys are the very first in the entire world to see this.
Yeah, outside of the company, outside of Marvel, we've not showed this to anybody yet. This is our new Spider-Punk. I think there's actually a subtitle. This is not. I didn't have the subtitle yet.
Oh,
but
yeah.
This is our exclusive, ScottyYoung.com exclusive for Spider-Punk Arms Race.
Arms Race.
That's out, Megan. You know when it's out.
February 28th.
February 28th. So we have 2 versions, correct?
Yeah.
You like the other one.
I'm very excited for the other one. I love this one.
So then, instead of just doing a virgin like we
talked about, I was like, can we do something else? Not the color is so much with Spider-Punk.
And we didn't want to just go black and white. So we decided to do a little themed out situation. Oh, wait, what was that? Okay. We decided to do a little themed out situation and go punk pink.
Awesome.
So we have, I keep doing this and then I think there's going to be like
a crowd
like
clapping.
A big it's just us going.
Yeah.
It is a big year for pink.
Yeah. So, like I fiddled around. It's funny. I had a completely different approach to this cover. And then one day Megan left to go to an appointment and by the time we needed to have it done that day, by the time she came back, I had completely changed the direction and it was this. And then I also had the pink version, which we really, really enjoyed. So
you actually let me put that paint up in the very far corner. Oh, yeah. You let me put a piece of paint on there.
You did get to do a little splatter.
So
there we go.
They're going to be signing these as well whenever they get released at the shop.
Yeah. So this will be our typical 3,000 on the cover A, and then cover B I think is 1,500. And we're super excited.
So
obviously, Edge of Spider-Verse, Scotty had that little Spider-Punk, but this is his first Spider-Punk ever.
Yeah, the first like full-blown Spider-Punk. So there you go, everybody.
Very exciting. Thank you all for sharing that.
It's almost as if you knew ahead of time.
Yeah, I don't. That's premonition there. So, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
That is great. That is great. I'm sure Tony will be thrilled to see that too. That his question kind of prompted that. But the second part of his question kind of goes along with Tavis Dahaniuk. I had to write it the way
I feel like you nailed it. Let's just say you nailed it.
Yeah. Well, Tavis was the part I was worried about, and then Dahaniuk kind of messed me up. But Scotty, will you be doing any animation in the future? So any of your properties become an animation or
Oh, okay. Nothing official at the moment. There's always something. There's always something closed or something being talked about or something. Mostly I focus on the comics and stuff like that, and then that stuff kind of goes off and lives a life out in the Hollywood on its own, and then calls me every now and then and let me know how it's doing. It's like having kids. Like you make them, you raise them, then they go off and they start doing drugs out in Hollywood on Skid Row. Call you, ask you for money. You know, that's how my comic properties are. And then sometimes they come home and they're like, "Can I move back in?" And so.
Well, I think whenever you mentioned in one of the earlier streams that Gert was like this close to becoming a Funko Pop, I was like,
yeah, and that was before Fairlane came out. Like it was, I just happened to know like somebody who was at like high up at Funko Pop was a fan, so they were like, I think, I mean, now we could probably make it happen now. Jesus Christ, they make a Funko Pop of like the guy at the liquor store around the corner now. I feel like he has a Funko Pop. Everybody has a Funko Pop.
Yeah, well, I think Gert definitely deserves one if anybody does. So, especially with like the comic series they've got for Saga, and I think they did the Sabrina one that was from the comic series. So, I think Gert would fit in perfect with that. But sorry, that's just kind of my own personal. This question's from Anthony Andrioli, And this question probably is the second most question that gets asked to you, but any plans for Boy in the End in 2024?
Listen, I could say a year all the time, but
I feel like it's closer than it's ever been.
It really
and
is.
It's still so far.
It's close. Yeah, that it's hope. I have a list. Of some things that I want to accomplish in this year, and none of them are actually technically books or anything like that. So I don't know what that means for Boy at the End or what it is, but it is high on the list. So we'll see. I promise you guys what's happening.
Hope so. Unofficial Presto's Comic Shop, which is the username on Facebook, had kind of asked that same question. He was wondering if Scotty would ever write a Boy at the End story. He hope he will. He says he'll be the first in line. So awesome. I know there's a lot of people that ask that question. So very popular character.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys.
All right. Stu Caboose, one of my favorite names in this group, says, will you do a variant with Kid Cudi's Moon Man? Just hoping for a collab of my favorite artist and hip hop artist, or is this but a dream I'll have to hold on to?
It is going to have to be a dream. I did get asked to do one, actually. I just didn't have the time. But no, I did get asked to do a cover for Kid Cudi's Moon Man. Yeah, very recently. But yeah, he's amazing. So I'm a big fan as well.
Okay. Julio Dotson asked, are we going to see more Homage Facsimile edition covers, kind of similar to the X-Men 141 that came out?
If they pop up, that was so fun.
Yeah, thing is, if there's a cover that really, like, that one makes sense. And that one's been homaged a million times. Like, everybody has homaged that cover. But it's so iconic. Like, there's no other option but to homage that cover, So, but I also don't like... Sorry, we're like looking at cars pulling.
Why do we have so much traffic out here tonight?
We also don't... I don't like to get in the habit of homaging too much. I think it's easy to lean on that. So for me, it has to really, really be like, it has to make sense. It has to have a little bit of humor to it. Like, part of me wanted to do it not just because of the imagery, but because I wanted to make the jokes in the labels of the tiny labels of like deceased and captured and all that.
You were so proud.
Yeah.
I've never, like, you came like skipping out of your office, like, so proud of those. It was pretty fun.
So that made sense because we could take it to another level and make a little bit of an homage joke, like make some jokes with the homage. Just doing homages is not I don't find it that satisfying. So if it makes sense and it makes us laugh, and we will, but I like to make sure that we do it less than we do it.
Okay. That makes perfect sense. All right. Eric Santamaro asked, I love the hip hop sketches that you've done. Will those ever be released as prints? What is your go-to hip hop group album artist? Will you ever do more? And can you please do Black Thought and Questlove?
Oh, that Black Thought and Questlove would be great. Yeah, I'll definitely add those to the list. Redman's one of my favorite rappers from the 90s and still now. He's still just as good as he was then. DOS Effects is one of my favorite rap groups of all time still. Aesop Rock has been a favorite rapper of mine now for about 20 years and a friend now. So those are some of my tops. But yeah, I always get in a mood. To go back and do some hip hop sketches. I don't know that we'll ever do prints of them. But never say never. We didn't think we'd do Andy Reid prints.
Yeah.
But,
that was fun.
Sometimes you do something and it hits you and you throw them out there. So, again, my motto around here is never say never. That's not a great motto. And I never say it.
Oh, that'd be another perfect. I'd ask Megan about hopefully one day getting the theme sketchbooks for like the Christmas and your Halloween characters. I think your hip hop sketches would be a good.
Let's look that way. I'll tell the lawyers. We're going to. That's a good idea, Dustin.
And Eric's got one more question for Megan. And does Scotty ever bounce ideas for cover sketches off of you guys? And if so, what is the favorite that he has done?
I feel like I've started being more a process of that.
For sure.
Being more in the process of that.
tell your favorite story.
My favorites are Transformers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you wrote a newsletter. I'm sure all these people wrote.
You're live now.
Well, you guys know our best, fastest selling cover ever, Transformers #1. I was so excited. We were actually at Heroes when that came down, and they were tight with limiting the number of exclusives they were going to do. And the artists were all pre-approved. And so I was quick making calls to Image, trying to get Scotty approved to do one. I stopped setting up at the convention, sitting on the sidewalk, calling Scotty, will you please do this? And he did. And we got back here and he drew the cover and brought it in. And I was like, huh.
She went, well, cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And just kind of didn't make eye contact.
I have never known a truth quicker than I knew a truth in that room right at that moment. I was like, all right, I see you.
And it was a great drawing. It just didn't have that action that Scotty does. And then he was like,
and Skybound approved it.
Yeah, we sent it off to Skybound. They approved it. And then he came back and he's like, you know what? That sucked.
Yeah. I was like, man, it sucked. And then
I was like, thank God. And he redrew it, and it was, as you know, complete fire. Like, it was awesome.
Yeah, cover of the year from the Scotties. If anybody that doesn't know,
it won the Cody.
Yeah, any other year Batman would have got it, but it's hard to beat. It was hard to beat.
It was a tough year. I think this is going to be another really tough year. There's some stuff coming in the pipeline we can't even say, but it's really cool.
It's crazy. You see the ones like the Spider-Punk pop up, and you're like, "Oh man, that's gonna be the best cover this year." And you look, and it's like, it's February. There's still 10 more months to go.
We got one right on the back of. We have another one that we've already finished. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's super cool.
That one's literally fire. Dun, dun, dun.
Well, speaking of the Batman books that I mentioned a few seconds ago, there's 3 different questions that come in, and I'm going to try to read them all together just to knock them all out at once. But Brock Setchell, who I think I saw his name pop up on there a few seconds ago. Do you have any plans to do more DC covers? Jose Carrasco asked, will you be doing any DC covers in the future? And which characters would you like to draw from that universe? Because Batman was awesome. I agree. And finally, Christian Ball had asked, with your first Batman cover being a huge hit, do you have any plans for this year to continue down the line of DC characters? Would like to see a Suicide Squad cover or Joker variant cover with all the different Jokers depicted?
The answer is yes. We'll definitely be doing some DC covers. There's definitely some cool shit coming from them that we're going to be on. But I'm not going to answer any of the characters because it might give away some of that. So
yeah.
Just in general, yes. Pretty much everything. I've never drawn professional. I mean, I've drawn nothing. Batman is my first professional DC work, so I'm wide open for everything right now. So there's some cool stuff coming though that we're going to be involved in. That's going to be really fun.
Well, how long did it take you to get that idea for Batman? I mean, was that your first, like, I want Batman standing in the position he was, or did you have to toy around with that one?
I had that. I did about a page of little tiny doodles about this big, and that was definitely one of the first ideas. Now, once I got it blown up and I noodled it a lot. Like, I had a different angle on the chimney for a day.
Yeah,
I noodled on that longer than I ever do on covers.
Yeah, it definitely was
I'm usually like a quick decision maker, and I just jam it out.
We redid our studio kind of recently. You guys can't see it very well, but behind me, this bookshelf back there is like a whole little sitting area and library, and Scotty often sits out there to draw now and do initial sketches. And you were out there for felt like a solid week.
Yeah, just doodling,
changing this and working on it. And
because we had enough time, so it was like, I'll work on it a little bit today. I'll work on it a little bit today, and then last minute I changed that chimney and kind of twisted it. And yeah, it was. Really, it was just me redrawing those side buildings and the pipes over and over and over, trying to figure out the right angle on those. Then I nailed it. So.
I think it paid off, especially with it being the first one. With it being the first one, I know you wanted to make it extra special, and the reaction from the group has been huge. So, moving on, Ryan Peters, you all probably know him because I know he buys he's a big fan of your art. original art. But he asked, will there be any covers for sale this year? Cover art.
Yes, there are. We've gone through a first round of deciding what's up for sale. Really, it's finding a window for our team to be able to bring original art out here into the studio in a safe way to get it shipped. And I think we're getting really, really close. I know I've said it before. But yes, original art. Scotty's holding on to some of the more key pieces. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. I mean, over the years, I've just been like sell. But as I'm getting older, I was like, I probably should hold on to some of these things for a little while, just not be so anxious to get them out of the door.
But there are some really, really good ones in my stack of.
Yeah, we got some fun ones, like a year and a half's worth, right?
Yeah,
a lot. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure, Ryan, I'll be looking forward to seeing those as well. But there's quite a few collectors out there fighting for those. So. Matthew JT, two-part question. This is Matthew from M&M Comics in Chicago, Illinois. Any chance you will be at C2E2 this year? And when should we expect another Batman cover? But we kind of so C2E2, is that on the plate this year? Or?
We're not at C2E2. There was originally a scheduling conflict. Turns out we probably could have gone, but not this year.
Yep, not this year. Taking a pause from it for a year. Got to make you guys want me again.
Harry Utomo asked, and I'm sure you may not have time to do this, but is there any plans for doing interior pages for any series in 2024? So
I just asked you this
the
other day.
Not for anything. I don't have any plans at the moment. I mean, and if you ever see me do interiors again, it will be for my own book. But no plans at the moment. So
sorry, it froze up a little bit, so I'm trying not to speak over. But I was trying to kind of segue into that. The big announcement today, Ain't No Grave. That it looks like, from what I read, it's a 5-part miniseries, but it looks like it's going to be quite a double issue coming out. It looks like that's going to be a pretty big, chunk of your time this first little bit. Or have you already written your?
It's all done. My parts are all done, and Jorge has penciled up through issue 4. Like, so issues 1, 2, and 3 are all penciled and inked. Issues 1 and 2 are fully colored.
This is the way you approach most of your projects. You wrote
kind of now, yeah.
Twig completely through, right. Love in the Dark completely through.
Yeah. So this one completely written from my end. Nate went off and made up an entire brand new font from top to bottom, like just, in the way that Nate does. Created the logo. The first issue is 40 pages. Like, it's not a 40-page book with 30 pages of story. When people say that, it's like an extra size issue, but this is literally like front cover to back cover story. Oh, wow. Like 40 pages of story for issue 1. And so really it's going to be about the size of a 6-issue pretty much, but just in 5 issues. And man, when you guys see what Jorge is doing with it, we all know how good he is, but he's just putting on a clinic. It's insane. Like,
it's kind of cruel to release those first 6 or 7 pages for a preview, because it's like, man, now you got to wait, 3 months to find out what actually happens.
It is cruel.
Yeah,
it's cruel.
But yeah, it's been a really fun book to watch come to life, and we really tackled a genre that neither one of us really, I don't think people would expect from us. And then within that genre, we kind of told each issue as its own slight genre within a Western. So the structure of the tale as a whole is just a blast, and creepy and funny and sad and all the things.
Well, now that you said you've got that one kind of already completely written, is Twig Volume 2, or are you working on that as well, or is that one already?
I am working on that. Yeah, right now I'm in the plotting stage. I have the first 2 issues completely plotted, so I'm approaching Twig the same way, where I'm trying to get it all, basically those 5 issues written as well, handed off to Kyle. So then he can just start chipping away as he finishes, or as he wants. So that is also in the works. Twig book 2, which we don't have any dates or anything for that. So that's on deck as well.
Man, it must be pretty cool to have Jorge and Kyle and even Brett for the I Hate Fairyland to be able to write these stories that are in your head and not have to worry about you kind of hand them off and let them be their baby for a while and
pretty great. Yeah, I mean it's nice when you find people you can trust to carry that level of weight. Kyle, Jorge, Brett, Aaron, everybody who I've worked with that's probably my favorite thing about being a writer after all these years of being an artist is understanding what it takes, understanding and knowing who you can work with.
Hold on. Jim Food's on the chat.
Oh, shit.
Jim said, Scotty, are there chicken strips in the new book?
I get Jim chicken strips at the Peanut one time. He never stops talking about chicken strips now. It's his go-to thing.
Hey, yes. Jim.
What's up, Jim? Jim's a KC guy now.
We brought him in from Portland.
Yep. He's back in KC. He went to college here, and now Jim's here. But yeah, it's great. It's really great when you work with people like those guys, and I can sit around and bang on a keyboard and make all this crazy stuff up, and then they go off and just cook up magic. It's pretty fantastic.
This next question, this is one that I had no idea that you were on a show called Around Comics, or a podcast that you did Around Comics. You did some co-hosts, and Stephen McCoy actually brought this up, and he wrote a little bit of I don't know if y'all can see, but I'll try to read quickly. But thank you all for being here tonight. You're my favorite artist, and I'm sure I speak on behalf of everyone when I say we've all been looking forward to this since Dustin made the announcement. My question is your art isn't about your artwork. I've been a fan of yours since episode 100 of Around Comics. Some of my favorite moments include Rage Against the Machine from Casa Scotti with Ambrosia, the collapse of Tabor during the 24-hour broadcast, and your infamous story about your trip to Yuma, Colorado during the first club of the month club. He still listens to AC episodes today. There's so many others, but I won't take more time. My question is, do you have a favorite episode or discussion from your AC days? And have you ever thought about doing your own podcast again, perhaps a reboot of The Devil and Me? Thanks again, Scotty, and a huge shout out to Megan and John for everything you do. And last but not least, his favorite cover is this one, and I printed out a copy of it. This is a tattoo on his arm.
Oh, that's awesome!
Very cool.
It looks better than it looks on this printed piece of paper, but yeah, it's very cool. So I'll let you answer the question. I'll stop talking.
Yeah. So in 2007, 2007.
What was this podcast called?
Called Around Comics.
I don't even know.
I'll share a link with the group of the. Yeah. I found the link and started listening to them, and
right.
Scotty hates Spider-Man 3 in the first one I listened to. He was really hard on Spider-Man 3. So
yeah,
I don't know if he's softened on that or not.
Part of me that's like, please don't go listen to these. I have no idea what I probably said on microphone in 2007. Good God. So I went on. They were in Chicago. They recorded at Dark Tower Comics. Chris, Sal, and Tom recorded 2 shows. They had 2 shows a week, but they recorded them both in one night. So they'd get up to this comic book shop about 6 or so, and then just record till like 1 a.m. Each show is like 2.5 hours long. They had me on there. They interviewed me for a show. They do a lot of local Chicago artists already, and they had been on the show. And this is the early days of podcasting. And they brought me up there, interviewed me. It was really fun, and there was a pretty good response. So eventually they asked me to come on and just be a co-host with them. So for about a year, every Friday night, I just went and was a co-host on the Around Comics podcast.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
That was my phone. I was trying to log in.
So yeah, it was really great. There was a lot of funny stuff. I mean, very young, probably, like I said, probably don't go listen to it. Please don't do it.
But the one I was listening to had said, you were still dating Casey, and said you all had been together, I think like 7 years or so. What you said
right.
I've only listened to the first 2, and I was like, man, you were 20. I think they said you were 28 or 29.
Yeah, I wasn't 30. I think I was 28 or 29 around that time. Yeah, a long time ago. But yeah, it was a fun time. welcome. He said something. I saw somebody. He said something else about Around Comics earlier, but yeah, it was a very fun era of those guys were really great. Loved some comics, and it got me reading a lot of comics that I hadn't read before. Some old school ones that I didn't read a ton of comics like the OG classics. So going on that show helped kind of expand my comic knowledge.
Well, one of the comics you had mentioned starting was Why the Last Man, to kind of put it in the frame of what year it was back then. And I was like, man, y'all were talking about Vaughn's Lost episode, and I was like, this is like hopping in a time machine to try to.
Yeah. It was a long time ago. Holy shit.
Okay, this question's from Beth Partridge, and she said that she noticed that you've done a Popeye sketch before. Have you ever done an olive oil? And she said they have Popeye and olive tattoos and would love to get a chance to buy a print of an olive oil. So
I should do olive oil. That'd be good.
She'd be
great to draw.
Yeah. So
yeah,
let's do that this week.
Yeah. Okay. Do you hear that? Let's do that this week. You just do it. I am going to do it this week.
Her elbows.
Yeah.
Come on. That's
her big
gonna
lanky, her big lanky legs would be. Yeah, that'll be great.
I'm already like.
Put it on the list.
Envisioning. I will.
Okay.
She's on the list, Beth.
Beth Partridge. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'll apologize. It seems like this interview or this stream is giving you more work to do, Scotty, and that was not the purpose.
This is how it works, Dustin. I'm so used to it.
The last one that we
can't go over to Megan's house without walking home with work from her family. Like, what? Draw Patrick Mahomes now and Kelsey.
All right. Seth Traub had a question, and this question popped in my head, and I think he had messaged Megan, and he messaged me at the same time and asked if we could get this question on the show just for like con appearances. This question popped in my head when watching some of the other artists at MegaCon. I bet there would be a market for Scotty to charge extra for his older graffiti signature. Have you guys ever thought about that? I think some call them like artist signatures or something similar. Some of the bigger artists like Clayton Crane and Rob Liefeld do that. I think Mike Mayhew does something similar to that. I know I, for one, would pay for it. Thanks for listening. That was Seth.
May I take this question?
Please do.
I asked Scotty this maybe it was quite a year ago, but I mean, he's had so many fun signatures over the year. He actually gets asked to do his art signature, what he puts on original art on books, and that's always been a no. I think making money that way is just not Scotty's bag. It's an immediate no from him.
It's not from a lazy. It's not like, oh, that's too much work. It's not that.
It just doesn't feel. I don't think it's what you.
No, I like to make stuff and I like to tell stories and make art. And I don't know, like asking you guys to pay me extra money for writing my name different is just. I mean, you guys know it took me a long time to charge for signatures. Like, period.
Plus, you can't handle, like, to be honest, like the cool rainbow. I mean, some of those signatures are so involved. And they're very worth what they're charging for.
Right.
But I don't think that people coming through your line at conventions have stacks of books. The line would move so slow.
That's the biggest problem.
And you have worked hard over the years to try to make people's weight less.
Right. While
you can still be your chatty, normal self.
Well, because we want people in line to also have like a moment, and hang out and talk a little bit. Yeah. I want the moment, like it's not fun just to conveyor belt everybody through. And if I imagine a stack of 20 books that I have to write every letter of my name in a different color marker and let it dry.
I think your brain would explode.
Good Lord. You guys would not like me. You guys would be.
You see the artists have like a marker between every finger as they're doing it, and switching out. And gosh, it's going to be a pain to keep those in order and, not double E letters.
He's left-handed. He smudges enough as it is.
You should see this finger after convention just looks like I have some sort of leprosy of Sharpie leprosy. That's a thing, right?
Yeah. So we can understand your
very biblical, right? Sharpie leprosy.
That's right. Jason Orlando asked, in recent books, you have been doing more city building. I think Jason's in here. In recent books, you have been doing more city buildings and cityscapes. Who are your influences, and where did you learn that architectural style?
That's a good question. I like that.
Well, what's interesting is that's actually like a really, really old thing that I used to do. Like if you go back and look at like old prints I made, like I made a Ghost Rider print like in the early 2000s, and I would put those buildings in the background. It's just kind of my go-to way to draw buildings. I mean, it comes from a mix of hip hop, graffiti. Justin Boa does a lot of cool buildings like that. It's a very big, like just wonky, I call it like melted butter style buildings. If you go look at like a lot of different animation, Fanboy and Chum Chum, it was a really dope cartoon that had really cool buildings. So yeah, for me, it's just kind of like, I like that cartoony urban flavor of just wacky shaped buildings and everything. And, it started making sense lately because I started getting some different Spider-Man comics that were a little bit more city based. So, it started making sense to pop those in again.
Yeah, I think some of the guys were like taking the Spider Boy issue that you just recently did, and the Ultimate Spider-Man, and trying to line them up and see if those were connecting covers because of the.
They're not.
I did see people say that.
Yeah, no, they're not. It's just, hey, you know what? It's just that I'm a hack, and I reuse the same background idea a lot.
No shame. Justin McCracken asked, "What do you find most challenging with designing a new cover?"
Yeah. Sorry, that was a great last name. You'll have to re-ask because I was so cool. I was commenting on his last name.
Oh, sorry. What do you find most challenging when designing new covers? Whenever you're given an idea from Marvel or Image or whoever.
Usually, it's trying to find a good joke. I don't want to just draw a cool drawing. Like, I'm fine with drawing a cool drawing. I mean, it's cool having Spider-Man just do thwip or whatever. But if I can find a joke, like that's when I'm like, yes. So the challenge is usually like, can I find a joke?
Do you have a favorite joke cover you did?
Yes. I love the Magneto one. And I mean, visual joke or a word joke, right? I love the Magneto one. One that maybe people didn't pick up on. There was an X-Men or Gods or something, where there's like a new character that looks pretty much like
the recent one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks like Doctor Strange, but he's not Doctor Strange. He's another magic guy. And then I have a little kid asking him he's like, hey, Doctor Strange, can I have your autograph? And he's like, I'm not Doctor Strange. He's like, do you have a mustache and goatee? Yeah. He's like, do you have white stripes in your hair? He's like, do you do magic? He's like, hey, Doctor Strange, can I have your autograph? Like, here's the thing. I grew up reading Mad Magazine, and Mad Magazine makes fun of stuff it loves, right? Like, to me, it's like the highest form of flattery for me is when you love something so much, you actually want to poke at it a little bit because it's just like, isn't this crazy? Like this weird world. So I like that one. There was one that you guys never got to see because legal didn't. I've almost had.
Oh, I know. God, that was so good.
I've almost had no covers rejected in Marvel in my 24 years there. There's just been like maybe 2 or 3 that I took to fruition, like full finished cover, and they were like, no, we can't publish it. One is because I drew everybody naked. Kidding. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
No, but
which issue was it? Which series was it?
So the one that I'm talking about was one of my favorite gags. Didn't make it because legal was like, was Doctor Strange, another Doctor Strange one. It was called Doctor Strange Surgeon Supreme because usually it's Sorcerer Supreme. Yeah, Doctor Strange is Sorcerer Supreme. And so they did a mini series or a short story or whatever of Surgeon Supreme where he got his hands back and he went because he was a surgeon. And so I was like, oh my gosh, it didn't take me any time to think of this one. And I drew Doctor Strange magically playing fucking Operation. And instead of the Operation kit guy, it was Hulk. And he was bringing up, like the bones and everything. And so it looks like the game Operation. It was so good. I didn't write Operation on there, but it was colored like it. And, Disney and everybody, they get pretty nervous when you start like edging up on any sort of legal stuff that could be, So they said no to that one, but that was probably my favorite gag. I'll post it. I mean, I can post it. It's just like that one was good. What else? What other ones have we liked?
I liked are we still talking joke
just
covers?
Jokes, yeah.
I liked the variants.
Oh, with me on it?
Yeah.
That was actually pretty solid, yeah.
That was good.
So the variant was for Jessica Jones, right? Or was it? Is that right there?
Yeah, because it also had had little animated statues on the shelf in the background too.
It was just like his office.
I think I put my Eisners up there, and it was
they were.
I was like, you're asking me to do a variant of a variance for a book called Variants. I was like, this is just ridiculous. I said, hold on, let me go get a shark to jump or whatever. So again, that's making fun of Marvel. That's making fun of the book. It's making fun of me. It's just like, let's just get in here and trash everybody.
That's right. Equal opportunity offenders. So that's what we like to see.
There you go.
Corey Bonin asked, when you do a variant or exclusive cover, do you get a sneak peek of the book so you kind of get an idea what to draw for it, or how does that whole process work?
Oh, that's a good question.
Wait, say that one more time. Sorry, Jorge just texted me and I got distracted. Just Jorge Corona texted me about his birthday.
Yeah,
is he having a party?
Ain't No Grave comes out on his birthday.
Oh,
he didn't know. How fitting is that shit?
Let's go out there.
Didn't come out on my fucking birthday. All right, let's go.
Okay.
Your son's gonna graduate about 8 minutes later after that.
Oh, right. Dang kids.
Goddamn kids.
When you do a variant or exclusive cover, do you get a sneak peek of the book so you can kind of get an idea what to draw for it, or how does that process work?
You know, it really varies. Sometimes yes, sometimes they haven't even started it. Like back in the day, for a while, I was getting assigned to do covers that sometimes I don't even know if they had an artist for it yet. Like they just, it's planned so far ahead that I was getting scheduled things as soon as they were conceiving them. So sometimes if there's enough there, honestly, as long as I know, the only thing I ever want to know is like, is there an important version of the character look wise, design wise? A lot of times they let me pick. I just pick what I think works best. I love iconic designs. I don't always dive into every single character redesign, even if it's redesigned in the book, because sometimes I'm like, well, this is a little kid version. Like I don't need to dive in. There's that. And then I will ask if there's any like big story elements, mostly because I want to be able to make the joke, if there's a story element going on with it. That was another one that I really liked was Drax. Drax was another joke that I liked because I was like, there's nothing funny about this character. I mean, literally, I couldn't think of a single joke. So I put him standing there with a trunk full of like Carrot Top level jokes and props where he's like, there's literally nothing funny about me.
Yeah, that one's on the wall over there. That was
awesome. Yeah. So that's another fun one of mine where I'm like, the joke is I have no jokes.
It took me a while to realize that was his, he had like a red nose on there because I bought the art before I bought the comic, and I was like, oh, that made it even better to see it in color. So that was a really good one. John B. Specht asked, what is your biggest struggle being an artist and a writer, and how do you overcome it?
Tape gun, the sound of the tape gun.
These fuckers taping boxes all day. It's really it's the pace of things, like not taking the correct amount of time between things to like come up with. It's like you're working on one thing and you're working on 4 things and you're trying to come up with the next 2 things while doing that, instead of like doing what's probably the healthy version and like finishing a thing and then just staring at the wall for 3 months while you come up with the next thing. It's the juggling of everything that gets a little difficult, but it's a challenge. It's not impossible.
I think it's hard for you. I didn't know you back when you just worked all hours of the day, but when the creativity came to you, you could just do it. Now you're trying to sort of fit it in an 8 to 5 because kids want dinner and have games and activities and stuff,
trying to make this a clock in, clock out job is. I
see you kind of struggle. With that.
Because
we're texting at like 17 a.m. on Saturday morning. Hey,
right. Like you have the creativity when you have it. You don't have it sometimes when you need to have it. And you don't, it's, I mean, again, it's my doing. It's not like anybody's making me do this, but yeah, it's hard to rewire or unwire or whatever sometimes, but I don't know. I'll figure it out. Maybe
we try to be pretty respectful, John and I. with signing. I mean, we have to have this guy sign a lot of stuff.
Sign a lot of books.
A lot. And we've tried different things, from narrowing it to a certain day of the week, but that doesn't work because you never know when exclusives are going to drop and when shipping delays happen. And Scotty's always super flexible working with us on that, but it does cut into his creativity space, which we try to protect a lot because that's the thing that keeps this going. But there's a lot of paperwork and business to be done too.
Yeah. She says that they're protected, but I'm usually the one like, hey, what are you doing? Like, she's like, can you close my door, please? Close my door. And I'm like, well, I know, but what are you doing though? What are you going to do when I close the door? Then the door's shut and I'm like, what are you doing in there?
Well, it's true. I was going to ask y'all before we even got started this interview, because you all have such a good kind of working relationship together. How did you two meet? Is there a good origin story or genesis story?
I think there's a good story. I have been friends with Jason Aaron for a really long time. He lives in our neighborhood. Our boys are the exact same age, grew up playing chess together and geeking out over, Nerf guns and birthday parties, and we're friends growing up. So Jason and I became good friends. And one time Jason was like, hey, so I'm going to try to get my buddy to move here. We're going to have a party. I need you to be super cool. Like, come over, be super cool. No pressure, but be super cool. We want them to move here. So we go to this party where Jason's invited just a ton of people. And our whole job was to get Scotty and Casey to move to Kansas City. And we did it. It worked. So they moved here. We have a really low-key country club. When I say country club, I mean it's like Caddyshack. It's
like a pool club.
Yeah. And we just got to know each other hanging out there, watching our kids swim. I worked at a very small local shop here and did their buying, would go to New York Market and pick out all the fun stuff for the shop and help with that, and had an advertising background, but had stayed home for a super long time with young kids, but was ready for something more. And Scotty and I talked for like a year before we finally jumped in to doing this. So it took some time, but
I met her. I knew that she was a low-key nerd. Later, I'd find out a full-blown nerd when one day at the pool, we're all talking and she's at the pool with her big like sun hat. And then we're all talking about something. And all of a sudden out of nowhere, she mentions Ram Man. I was like, Ram Man from Masters of the Universe? She's like, yeah. And I was like, what in the fuck is happening? Are we talking about He-Man? And so I realized like something's up. And then, she's a giant nerd, Predator nerd. We're definitely a nerdy movie crew.
Yeah.
We're the ones that were like, you want to see Godzilla for a third time? We'll do it.
Patrick Sy had asked, hey there, Scotty. I met you once in New York Comic Con 2017 and lined up for 3 times and failed the double roll. I'm sure you know what that means.
I do.
Question, how did you come up with that role, and how often do people win for sketch remarks? Or used to win?
The odds are actually hold on one second. Kay's texting me about something. Hold on. Something I'm going to answer.
What was the question about? Oh, how often people won?
Yeah, so the odds are actually much better than you think. Like it's not that hard to roll doubles. Like it happens more often than I wanted it to. Let me just tell you that. So here's where the idea came from. I went to Germany, and in Europe, you sketch in books. Like everybody does sketches, right? But obviously you cannot sketch for everybody. And I was going over there for the first time. Those my Oz books were just being published there in Germany, big hardcover. And when I got there, they had a system set up. So in the morning before my signing, everybody would line up at the publisher's booth, and they would buy the book. If they wanted to sketch, then they would roll doubles. They had to buy the book, have a receipt, then get in line to roll dice. If they rolled doubles, then he put a sticker on their receipt, and that meant they got a sketch. And I was like, I had been trying to figure out something. Like at that point, I had done first come, first serve. Then I just would take a list and I'd pick and choose and try to do as many as I want, or many as I could. And I was just getting to a place where I was like, I have no idea how to make this system fair. Like the first come, first serve was not good because all these dealers and people could get in first. So like anybody who like flew across the country with their kid and couldn't get there till Saturday was out of luck, and they're actually coming to the convention as a fan. And then I just, and then these dealers would come with like 25 of their crew and all take up my slots, and I was just like, how can I make this a fair system? And that I felt like that dice situation was about as clean. And what I didn't envision was it ended up being a great way to have moments with everybody. Like even people who lost had a great time because I'd be like, oh, or I'd be like, yes, I'd get excited when they lose because I didn't have to draw. Like, fuck yeah. And then, so it actually then, and I mean, a lot of people will just go get back in line and just wait another hour and get back in line.
Someone just commented, Donald hit doubles in Palm Springs 2017.
Yeah.
He got Dr. Strange sketch. It was his 4th time through the line.
So a lot of people just get back in the line and do it again. And I'd be like, man, this is like your whole day. And it was fun. I mean, now it's impossible. There's just, I mean, over the course of the years that, that Megan has been with us and we've been doing this now, it's insane. Like the lines are just crazy. And to sit there and draw would just basically eat up so much time for and I will not stand in lines. So I know how bad it has to suck to be, an hour and 20 minutes in our line and feel like, God, you're missing out on something else out on the floor or whatever, so that's where we had to be like, we can't do the dice or the sketches anymore. But
well, the pre-done pieces that you all have been bringing to the shows, I've seen a couple people get some pieces from those as well. So I think that's kind of a nice alternative to, they're able to get some away from you and not have to wait for a sketch. So
for sure.
Michael Saratovsky asked, what are your thoughts on digital drawing? And are there any plans on moving from pencil and ink or for ink?
I draw everything digitally currently, meaning I started there. And I've been doing that since I started Oz in 2008. That was my first time I bought a Cintiq, and that was fucking weird, man. Just trying to teach. No, my first issue of Oz I did on the I didn't have the Cintiq yet. I just had the Wacom tablet. So I would sit there and look at the monitor but draw on the pad, that's weird. That doesn't make any sense at all. Mm-hmm. So I draw digitally. I would love to. I've been trying to practice a little bit more. I do know that it's probably easier for me to get some interiors done if I was able to pull out my iPad at any time that I felt inspired to do so and whip out a page or whatever, rather than have to be in my office at my seat, in the Star Trek Enterprise bridge, So I'm not against it. It's just, it feels weird. It doesn't feel, I'm just used to doing, my hand just does the stuff. And so it's hard to get my brain to accept the lines that my hand makes on the screen versus the way I fuck up in a brush. Here's what the problem is. I fuck up better with brush than I do with digital. So, and my style is a lot of just a collection of my mess ups,
It looks like we've got about 17 questions left. I was counting them just to, I don't know what time of, time schedule y'all are on tonight.
We'll figure it out.
We're all right now.
We'll figure it out.
Benjamin Holton asked, when looking for new ideas, come up with something outside of your comfort zone. What's something your friends and family have pitched for ideas outside of your own thought process that you really like to draw? And can you draw the likeness of any person, real or fictional, or do you have permission ahead of time? I guess when you're doing your daily sketches, can you draw anybody, or do you have?
I don't know that I'm capable of drawing anybody. I don't find myself great at likenesses. Somebody has to have some suits. Somebody has to have a thing or two that's pretty pronounced. for me to be able to nail it. So I don't know that I'm great at it. I think sometimes I can get it. I think that Andy Reid, I nailed that one. But I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of something outside my comfort zone. You asked me to draw Godzilla for a really long time.
I did, as long as Dustin asked you to draw.
It really has been years, and I finally did it. But
Dustin, we both finally got our sketches.
Yeah, in the same week.
Was it?
Yeah. But I was right, because I drew that Godzilla I attempted about 3 drawings and half inked them before I landed on the one that I finished, because I was like, this sucks. But yeah, there you go.
All right. Well, you mentioned the Andy Reid piece.
There you go.
That's gonna be the first giveaway of the night. So
oh, nice.
Either one, y'all pick a number between 1 and 48, because that was the number of questions we had.
You go.
You want me to pick?
Yeah.
No, you pick. You do it. You worked hard to ship all these out.
17.
Good number. Stephen Rochester. I'll message Stephen after that and be mailing that to him. And we have 2 more chances. I've got 2 $25 gift cards to the Scotty shop, so we'll kind of give those away towards the end, or whatever a good break point happens. Tia Shrink asked, I like this question. Did your mother collect all your artwork as a kid? And can you remember any first memorable piece that she kept for herself?
Does Becky have your stuff?
No. I mean, she might have some.
She kept grade cards and all the stuff.
Well, she kept school stuff, but like I drew on like the inside covers of coloring books and stuff, like because it was white paper, right? Like, it's not like you had, like I lived in the country for like it's not like you had like art paper laying around a lot.
Yeah.
I'd draw on like my dad's yellow legal pads, you know. I don't know. I don't think there's a lot left over from my childhood years.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Now,
it's
you
weird.
will keep everything of Milo's. Scotty's youngest is just every year you can like look back at something he did the same time of year. He's going to be awesome if this is what he chooses to do.
Right.
Because he's got that same kind of brain.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I'm the kid of the like 80s, and I like where like there wasn't a lot of like, oh, look at the artsy kid. It was just like it's like all kids did it. I think they didn't think much of it until later in life. So I don't think anybody like kept it around. And then I've moved so many times. I can't remember like the oldest stuff I've had. I mean, I've got some stuff I think still from my like early Chicago years. I should dig out sometime.
Is it in that storage space in Peoria? I keep bugging you about.
Let's go get it.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. I was going to ask what's the earliest piece that you've got, but it sounds like
I've got some early ones. I mean, you have some pieces like that we.
Oh yeah.
We bought back a couple like early pieces. That one, that Cannon Busters piece popped up. That's fucking early. That's like 2002, 3 or something like that. I don't know what else.
Do I have that framed? I took everything down in my office. I'm getting ready to clean.
And then I have. God, I'll have to dig through and find some like real. I mean, I have a lot of stuff still scanned and like on hard drives. Mm-hmm.
This is the oldest Scotty I have.
And what year that is? Did I sign it down there?
Oh, that's the one for me, Bay. That's the one that popped up. Yeah, I'm sorry. I remember that one.
Yep. Is this the one you told us about?
That's the one. That's the one I was like, hey, do you recognize this?
This is hanging on my wall because of you, Dustin. Yeah, Scotty loved this piece. Weren't you like super proud?
Oh, I was super proud of it because I was like, look how detailed I did everything. And that was my radiator in our Chicago apartment. That was my homie's tattoo spot out in Aurora. That was my a god named Pacello. Fuck Nemo. Like all these little like Easter eggs. That was Steampunk Cole Blacksmith's arm from Steampunk.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. It's pencil, so it's probably hard for you guys to see.
But I've got a lot of older stuff on. We'll have to do a newsletter with the older stuff I have like scanned on hard drives, saved from those early years of me trying to break into comics.
Oh, sorry, it froze up for just a second. Sorry.
You're all good.
Stephen Foster said, I'd love to know how you decide, and this is kind of for Megan too. I'd love to know how you decide on what becomes a print or what the process is for prints. Book covers like Transformers would make amazing prints, but would they ever be released? So that, I guess that's more of a Megan question for what decision gets.
Well, I mean, we have pulled back on prints a little bit as far as how many we make, and unoriginal art might be where we focus moving forward. I'm always open to input. If you guys have opinions and thoughts. Unoriginal art is fun because I think we're going to do Magneto, one of Scotty's favorite covers.
Oh, right.
We have the next set ready to launch with those. We're sort of in a transition period, figuring out some logistics here of some changes because of the volume we're doing.
It's breaking everybody, Dustin. It's breaking everybody. Like Dolph Lundgren and Rocky, it'd break you.
But the process is really, looking at numbers, what books sold the most. I mean, it's
right now, when we kind of talked about this just in the last couple of days, like Megan said, we have pulled back on just like flooding it with like, oh, this is a cool image and people like it. It's print, cool image print. And just kind of like, well, we're doing those covers. So let's use that. That's the version of that we want. And now it's kind of like, if things like the man's best friend or Mando's best friend, right? Like the Mandalorian walking or the Reed print. Like I grew up again, reading Mad Magazine and looking at editorial cartoons and humor-based cartooning and parody and satire. So I get more excited. I'm not the biggest football fan in the world, but I'm more excited about the Andy Reid print than any Spider-Man print I've done in years because I like funny stuff. And his mustache was hilarious. That night I actually said, oh my God, I remember in Chicago how my mustache would just get nasty and frozen. And then 10 minutes later, they're showing Andy Reid's absolutely wacky ass frozen mustache. And we all sat around watching that game being like, well, we're doing this daily sketch tomorrow. So I like that. I want to lean more into daily sketch kind of concepts and surprising you guys and giving you guys something other. Everybody's wall has Spider-Man on it. You know what I mean? Everybody's wall has Batman on it and Optimus Prime. And those
are still fun.
They're still fun. Yeah. Just, I want to be more excited. And I want to like I said, the other thing is
you were super excited about our sticker drop.
Oh my God.
That's been fun.
I do love sticker drops. I think stickers are fucking awesome. You guys got to also understand what it's like to walk through a building where you do nothing but see you. Like it's a mind fuck. Like my name is everywhere. Every piece of if I look at this Batman cover one more time, I might lose it. Correct, Megan?
Oh yes.
Batman was probably,
and I just keep hanging it all up.
One day when Batman came in, we had such a good time. Like the day the shipment came in, we invited Jason over. We were having drinks. We ended up hanging out here till like fucking midnight. We thought we were gonna bag and board that. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
We were like, you thought we were gonna.
I was like, you guys can come over only if you're gonna bag and board.
Well, she literally during the day, like we went to lunch, and she was like, bagging and boarding tonight. I'm coming back up to the studio. My family's coming to help me bag and board. We got back. Batman came in late afternoon. Then she was like, call Jason. Jason came over. He was just going to come over to see it, have one drink. That always works. This is at 4:30. I'm pretty sure we were here talking about comics at 11:30. But
so fun.
So yeah, it was great. But then you flash forward a couple months and you're like, all of us are like, if I see that Batman one more time, I mean, there's just, you guys can't see off camera, but there's just there's short boxes and there's show them.
Oh, right. I moved all the boxes so they wouldn't be.
They're
boxes stacked up to the ceiling right now.
Yeah. And then we got a table over here filled with signed books, unsigned books, bags and boards. I have bagged and boarded more than I ever have as a fan.
That's my office back there.
Oh, wow.
That's Scotty's office.
And then my office is the dark room back
I can't
there.
figure out my pointing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So that's why for me, print wise, I like when those random ideas come up because I feel like it's so fresh and it's outside the norm and it's unexpected for all of us. And usually it's Megan who's like, "Ooh, we should," but the Andy Reid that was not intended to be a print at all.
No, people started asking in the comments. I mean, when you guys ask, we hear it.
Yeah.
Enough people ask, and I went into Scotty. I was like,
she was like, "Can you believe the?"
I'm like,
Andy
you really
Reid
think
stuff?
this would be? Because again, we watched the Chiefs starting in about January.
Yeah,
if
about
they're
playoff
doing
times.
Well.
Yeah.
Or it's a reason for our families to hang out, and we do that.
Right.
But I could not believe that people wanted it as a print.
Yeah, that Andy Reid print has sold like crazy.
Yeah, that was so fun.
Yeah.
And then we gave a donation to Special Olympics for that, and it felt good.
That was awesome. Yeah, I was going to say that was great. I was going to mention that was really kind of y'all to do that, because I know that's a great organization. So I'm sure
absolutely
appreciative of that.
Well, and that was, we made sure. I'm not even going to say we. This was Megan's legwork, but you made sure that it was an Andy Reid like supported charity.
Andy
like
Reid's a huge
that was really important to us.
Olympics.
Where if we were making having fun with him and the Chiefs, so we wanted to make sure we gave back to something that he cared about.
Someone I did see, sorry to jump in, Dustin, I saw someone ask about a warehouse sale. We definitely are going to have a warehouse sale, and it'll be, I think, maybe twice as big as our last one. It'll take us a little, it won't, obviously last year, I think it was in January. So I'm hopeful, thinking maybe June this year.
All right, good deal.
Yeah.
All right. See if there's a Megan question in here.
Yeah. You got any Megan questions? Scotty just got up.
I'll flip through here. There are some that are for both of you all, so I was trying to.
You guys can ask me all the stuff you don't think Scotty would want me to answer right now.
Ryan Pratt had asked a question. This is kind of, you had mentioned the stickers that you all were selling. Have you all ever thought about selling? He was wondering, there's no box art like the long and short boxes for comics that actually have Scotty's art on there. And
oh yeah.
Either creating some type of that or making larger stickers to put on those boxes.
I have thought about a big sticker.
Yeah.
We can't just print Marvel art on stuff. That's gets into licensing. Right. I think it'd be cool if Marvel did one. Sometimes I'm surprised that they haven't, but
I think like everything, it's a margin situation.
Yeah, and I looked into it, and they're not inexpensive to have custom printed.
Right.
We don't have a giant place here, so it's been looked into, and it just isn't a path that we went down. But big stickers, is definitely doable.
Okay. I did want to jump in real quick, just to let everybody in the chat know. I know a few people in the chat are saying, like, can I ask a question? Can I ask a question? I just wanted to make sure that you guys don't feel that we're ignoring that. But we were so specifically here with Dustin and a ton of questions that Dustin had from the Facebook group. So we're prioritizing those. I just didn't want anybody to think
good point.
We're not able to jump into like live questions tonight. We're going to start doing live streams. Like we're doing a lot of readjusting some stuff around here in the next month so we can get back to some of the fun stuff like this. But I just want to let everybody know that tonight the questions and answers are going to be Dustin's pile here.
One of the good things, some of the questions I've been seeing pop up have already been answered. So
cool.
They can go back and rewatch and catch on some of those.
Right.
So, yeah, I saw some of those and I was like, man, I wish I could say, well, we've already answered those, but you've answered quite a few questions and there's still a few more in here. So I'm sure most of these will be covered. But Ryan Pratt had also asked, Scotty, what's your favorite member of Wu-Tang and favorite Wu-Tang solo album?
Ooh. Oh my gosh. Well, it's Method Man for sure. I mean, I don't even have to think about that. And I would have to say, I mean, outside of 36 Chambers, which obviously is an amazing album, it's Method Man's Tikal, his first album. It's a front to back banger. I mean, it's to me one of the best hip hop albums of all time. I wish Redman was a Wu-Tang member because I'd say him, but obviously him and Method Man went on to have a great friendship and career together as well, making albums. But yeah, Method Man and Tikal. It's a pretty amazing album.
All right, good answer. And this one, you all know Tyler Laracy, and he was actually kind enough to send me a little video clip of how to say his last name because I wanted to make sure I said it right. But
I gotta say,
Tyler's before you, and I know he's a good friend of you.
Before you ask his question, I'm gonna say something that you want to say.
Hello, stupid friend.
Oh. No, I wanted to hear his last name because I always say Laracy. Is that way off?
It's like heresy. Like it rhymes with heresy. That's the first thing I said to him. I said it's like heresy with an L. So
okay.
I just want to say big up to Tyler because it's like that dude replies almost instantly to everything.
I think he works
like
here.
Is he? Yeah, I swear to God, I think he's in one of my flat files or something. Like, is he in my bookshelf? Because I'm like, as soon as something's posted, it's like him and there's like a couple people. It's Tyler or
lots of people.
Yeah, there's about 4 people who are like they're always going to be like not just first, but like milliseconds
and
after something.
Tracy
posted.
Hoffman. I don't think Tracy's on the Facebook group. Honestly,
Doc Hoffman, Dr. Tracy.
I don't think, she talked to her before, and she's not in the group, but she said she's heard good things about it, but she just doesn't do Facebook. But she's another one I chat with on Instagram. So
cool.
Okay. Another
anyway, Tyler, person. You're awesome. So let's hear what he has to ask. Better be good.
All right. Hello, stupid fresh mess crew. Your friendly neighborhood Tyler here, huh? You've done a collab with Fortnite, which was, as they say, lit. And I'm kind of mad at him for making me say lit. I've never used that phrase before, but
I need you to say it again. I need you to say all of that. I'm going to make you start from the beginning. I want you to do the ha and lit and everything. You redo it, Dustin.
All right, I'll do my. Hello, fresh mess crew. Your friendly neighborhood Tyler here, huh? You've done a collab with Fortnite, which, as they say, was lit. Okay, don't feel right. What would have been or would be your favorite video game to contribute to?
Fucking A, Dustin. That was the best delivery. I'm so glad this is on video, dude.
That's so good.
My favorite thing that you said.
I don't feel right.
Just super fresh mess. Friendly neighborhood Tyler, huh? It's the best.
That's my inflection.
I know, I love it. No, I'm legit. Like that is
cool as a final turkey.
That's comedy there, Dustin.
Lit is part of your vocab now.
Yeah, you're gonna have to be saying it all the time now. What video game
lit or not? Yeah.
What video game franchise would I like to do art for or contribute to? It was the question.
Yeah. Oh well, what would have been or would be video game to contribute to?
Man. I absolutely lost I lost at least 3 months of my life to Final Fantasy VII when that came out. When I was I think I was 19 or 20, waiting tables. I'd get home and just play that shit all night. That game took 72 hours to beat. 72 hours over 2 months.
Wow.
Final Fantasy and the artwork in that is just amazing. That would have been fun. I'm trying to think of. I mean, that was one of my favorite games. Mario Kart would be dope.
Oh, so fun.
Like Mario stuff would just be awesome to be able to do like official stuff for, but do it off model. Like clearly, I'm a fan.
Did you play Legend of Zelda?
I didn't play that as much as everybody else did. I did. I played the gold one. I mean the Nintendo stuff. As I got older, and everybody became legit Zelda like acolytes, I fell off a little bit. What else did you play? You're a Tetris lady. She fucking.
Oh yeah, but not when I was little.
Oh,
like
you did?
No, I was all Mario.
She fucking ices motherfuckers at Tetris now, and is not nice about it. Like. Oh, you didn't make it? And she just crushes. What else? What did you play? What did you and Cam play?
We played, we played everything Nintendo.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything else. Well, I had Atari 2600.
Oh yeah.
When I was little.
I played Fester's Quest. That was some dope shit on Nintendo back in the day. Regular like NES. I'm trying to think of some newer games that I don't necessarily play, but like I would like I used to, my buddy Travis, our friend Travis used to live here. I used to make him come over to my house and play Red Dead Redemption and just let me watch. So any of that, and now I kind of do that with my kids. Like Milo plays Little Nightmares. That's pretty fun to watch. He's really good at video games. I suck at them now. Like it's crazy how bad, but God, I could have we need to do like a legit month of video game dailies.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Right?
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Cool.
I like that.
Good question. That was Tyler's, right?
Yeah. Tyler had another question for Megan, so I'll go ahead and get that.
All right, it better be lit.
No lit or no ha. What's been your favorite part about teaming up with Scotty and your journey into the comic industry? And he just wanted to add, are there any big goals or ideas that you all want to tackle together as a crew in the new year?
Oh gosh,
this is a good one.
I was timid AF when I started here. I was like, you're crazy for bringing me in. I didn't read comic books growing up. I don't know anything. Like for real, when I came in week 1, I was like, what do people, when they say a variant, what's
right? What's a variant?
So the learning curve was steep, but I dove in and I love this world so much. So much.
I think she likes it more than me. No, the great thing is when Megan came on, the very first conversation, she was like, well, I don't know anything about comics. I was like, don't worry about that. I know all of that. The thing that seemed most fun was what I love, and I think what I've done with my art style, what I'd like to do with my writing, what I like to do with everything is put shit together that's not supposed to be that way. Like that's where you get new things and fresh ideas and fun worlds. And I didn't find it any different when we started thinking about this as a business. Like,
yeah,
of course I could go out there and called any number of the comic book people that know all the comic book stuff, and they would have done all the comic book moves. Right. And we would do that.
And I'm really good at paying bills and paperwork and keeping a schedule organized.
Right.
And, starting things like getting Scotty down to CGC to even do, signings with that and I loved getting our own label here for Stupid Fresh Mess. And
right.
We've got another fun project with that coming.
With CGC?
Yeah, it's going to be so
great,
fun.
Yeah. But that's the thing is like her brain from marketing and sales that weren't originated in comics meant that she was going to bring fresh ideas, and she has brought fresh ideas that are just good ideas. They're not so comic book specific. I think we get so insular and just in comics a lot of times where we're just circling the same ideas and people and concepts that it's fun for me to be able to have conversations that are just outside of that box, to the point now when people are like, did you hear what's going, like comic gossip? I'm like, guys, I have no fucking idea what's going on in comics. Like we just sit around here and brainstorm fun ideas, and we get to do it because of communities like that you've helped build alongside, which is a group of people that like to think outside the box and like us to think outside the box. So it's like screen prints or unoriginal art or any of these kind of things, or Andy Reid prints. I mean, I honestly don't believe that we'd get away with Andy Reid prints 5 years ago if we were just like ho-humming doing exactly what everybody else does, like, or whatever. But it's been awesome to watch. It's been awesome to watch her come in and be like, what's a variant? To where now I'm going to her being like, what's this? Like, I don't know what this is. Can you help me?
My absolute favorite part that I'll never give up, no matter how my job changes here, is actually packing some boxes and seeing Tyler's name pop up on an order and being like, oh, hell yeah. And writing a note on the inside of a box. And
yeah,
it happened the other day. I wrote a note on the inside of a box to a customer. His name is Maka. He lives in California. I met him once, and he's just the sweetest, kindest person. And has come to find out his mom had just died, and he opened this box and said he started to cry, and he wrote a long email to me, and that just made my week. Those kind of things. So literally all the relationships with Scotty's people is the best.
And I think that is so important. I'm so glad that she mentions that, because that is the thing. That's the X factor. That just being, our families are best friends, Megan and I have a trillion things in common outside of comic books, where we can talk to you endlessly about the movie Predator or or Ghostbusters or whatever. So
R.I.P. Carl.
Yeah, I know. So the fact that then that we translate that into a relationship beyond just a comic page, I don't think that would be happening if I would have just went to anybody who's like really, really knowledgeable at comics and deciding, hey guys, let's work on this, because it would have just been the same as usual, and there would have been a stigma to comic fans, and it's just not how we view it. Like there's no way we do this without people like Maka, with people like you, without people like Tyler or Tracy or any of these people that are constantly showing up, supporting our weird ideas, supporting my weird stories, making John and Megan feel not like they're here pressing buttons and just shipping you guys stuff, but a part of the process in the machine, which they fucking are. Like, they're the heart of it. I could not do this without that at all. Like, not even close. I don't know that I would be, it's not even that I would be trying and couldn't do it. I don't even know if I'd want to, it's like, it's such a family situation, but yeah, that was, I think Tyler had some good questions tonight.
Yeah. Orlando Heredia asked, my question would be, and this one I think is probably going to be one of your, like dreams that you wish you could do, but if you could speak with Bill Watterson and get the rights for a one-shot comic of Calvin and Hobbes.
Oh my God. Well, I'd just vanish right after it. Like, I just make it and then be dead. It'd be me in a Calvin and Hobbes like drawing. Just, if people don't know, like, I'm a pretty big Calvin and Hobbes fan. Yeah, it'd be amazing. Like, I mean, it'll never happen, but it's pretty cool. That'd be amazing.
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
Rob Moore asked, if you could do a comic series based on any 80s, 90s TV show, why would it be the X-Files, and what would your story pitch be for the first episode? Or he said, insert the show of your choice.
Who asked that question again?
Rob Moore.
I saw that question pop up. I love it. Why would it be X-Files?
I like that. I like these. Like, it better be this. It probably would be. God.
I love that one. I mean, that would be.
Fun. I missed out on X-Files. I watched X-Files later. Wow. I watched the shit out of Quantum Leap. I'll tell you that right now. I was a big Quantum Leap nerd. That's not what would be fun to draw though. It'd probably be some sitcom. Like, it'd probably be, it'd be fucking like The Simpsons, right? Like, I mean, or something like that. Like or In Living Color. Like, those were like every Sunday night. All I wanted to do was watch The Simpsons in A Living Color. That's it. Like, if my parents tried to make me go to bed before that, it was like, it's gonna be lit. You know what I mean? That's probably not what that means, but.
Oh, Lord.
Did you know there's a new Quantum Leap?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think it's like they've
Will said there's someone in here that said it was pretty good. Will,
is it?
I don't know.
Okay.
Will says it's good.
All right. Well, let's put it. We'll do a studio viewing of episode one.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too bad. I've watched the first season. It's actually.
Oh, good.
I'll enjoy it.
Oh, awesome.
So,
good.
Nate Hart's asked, who is the one artist you've never worked with that would be a blast to draw one of your stories?
Oh, Chris Pacello. I mean, he's one of my favorites of all time. And I've gotten to work with Umberto now and Joe Mad. I mean, Chris has done some covers like for books that I've done over the years, but man, I'd love to write a story and see what Chris would do with it on paper. It'd be great.
Yeah, it's a great choice. And Stephen Rochester, who won the Andy Reid print earlier, asked, who would you want to have dinner with, dead or alive? Ooh, big question. Megan, you can answer that one too.
I'm really bad at these kind of questions.
I want Megan to answer this one. Dead or alive? I would want to have dinner with, like, who would be, like, it'd be hilarious to, like, sit down with. I did see Zach Galifianakis at the table next to me at a winery last week, and now there's a part of me that was like, man, like, I don't want to go up and like like say hey to him right now, but it would be good just to sit at the table and like laugh. I don't know. Denzel Washington, he always has some dope shit to say. You know? Like it seems like every time he talks, he's just laying some knowledge, like some wise man shit down, you know? Then I make him say King Kong ain't got nothing on me from Training Day.
Good answer. Megan, did you have one or?
I would probably go with like one of my crushes.
Stanley Tucci.
Stanley Tucci. He'd make me dinner.
Look at her blushing right now. She's chewing on a Sharpie. That's how into that she was.
Stanley Tucci's a great one. And
it'd be a great dinner.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
Dermot Mulroney.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Henry Thomas. That'd be a good.
Oh, right. Yep.
Tyler said, "Oh Westall." I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying. Tyler just said, "Oh my gosh, I love Stanley Tucci."
Oh, he's the best.
Chad Westall asked if you could, what cameo role would you play in a movie?
Oh, that's good.
You get kind of broad. That's a wide open.
Yeah, that's a hard one. I mean, I don't have them right.
Like a role that's already been, like a movie that's already been.
I guess we can make up the rule.
Yeah. There was a lot of direction.
I wish I was in that movie.
Okay. God, that's hard.
Yeah, I don't know. Pass. I mean, it's a great question that we'll sit here and we'll think about it for too long.
Okay.
Write that down and we'll.
I mean, my immediate answers are Devil Wears Prada, Predator.
A Predator.
All over the place.
Yeah. I'd want to be in Bridesmaids. It's super bad. All right, those are our answers. Predator and super bad.
Ghostbusters is going to be my.
All right.
That's my final answer.
Final answer.
I don't know the new Ghostbusters. I think anything with Paul Rudd would be a good answer for that because he just seems like a great Kansas City guy.
Yep.
He seems like he'd be a great guy to hang out with.
I'll be taking that day off. Don't expect any packages, guys.
Yeah. We're down to about the last 6 or 7. So Warren Young asked, Scotty, who were your influences in becoming an artist? And is Spider-Man, the Spider-Verse, your favorite to draw for the baby Marvel covers?
Oh, my list of influences is huge. So Chris Bocello, Sam Keith, Humberto Ramos, Bill Watterson, Sergio Aragonés. I could keep going on and on. Jack Davis. I don't know that I have a favorite. I like drawing the Spider-Man stuff for the baby covers or little young covers or whatever we call them. It's getting more difficult. I mean, I've drawn Spider-Man a lot of times, and the body's about this big, and to figure out new poses for that little body is getting to be a challenge, but it's fun. So I don't know that I have a favorite though. It changes a lot.
All right, Scotty, your face froze for a second. So I guess my kids, like I told you, the Wi-Fi is probably getting more choppier. So it's kind of like listening to a skipping disc. So if y'all see me making weird faces, I'm trying to make sure I'm picking up on everything you're saying. But Warren's last part of that question was, since it's the 20th anniversary of Wicked, would love to see you do a version of that Oz series. So,
that would be amazing.
I love Wicked. I've seen it twice or 3 times, twice live. Yeah. Have I seen it 3 times?
I don't know.
I love it. And it's my favorite Peloton ride. The Wicked soundtrack.
That's not open, is it, for like rewriting?
No, because it's its own thing. Yeah. But it is getting ready to be a movie though.
Yep. I'm picturing Scotty walking around the office singing "Defying Gravity."
Oh my gosh! If you care to find me,
do you do the Wicked Peloton ride?
Oh yeah, it's great. It's my favorite ride.
Philip,
it's on the daily sketch list though.
Oh.
There you go. Want to be popular.
That's great.
Do that again.
Me?
Yeah.
Popular.
Philip Ivanovic asks, is it smoother or easier to work with Marvel than other publishers now that they know your style since you've done so many covers? Or they still want to see 3 to 4 sketches before like figuring out the one you want to do?
Oh, this is a good question.
It's a good question. Yeah. It's been a billion years since I turned in sketches. I've worked at Marvel.
Unless it's a licensed.
Yeah. I mean, licensing properties like Alien, like Fox or 20th Century stuff or Disney stuff or Star Wars. It's a little bit more steps, but as far as Marvel goes, I've been there for almost 24 years now, and they know what I'm going to do. Like that's usually a situation there to like, does it look okay? Are you breaking any rule? Blah, blah. And at this point, like I know every traffic cone to avoid and weave around. And mostly at this point in my career, almost there's no publisher that, I mean, they know that I'm not going to.
Sometimes it's pretty cute when we work with somebody new, and
yeah, it's like 7 weeks ahead of time. Like, hey, just check it in. You got a thumbnail.
We're like, hey, do you have Scotty? I'm like, oh.
It's like you're going to get it on the due date that day. Just because my schedule is so. I think that's the other thing is like if you just look at the number of covers on my schedule, there's really no idle time. It's like the day that it's due is due. Like sometimes we turn a thing in and on like a 7 days later it is in people's hands.
I know Scotty actually doesn't have a lot of covers out there right now. But that's because he's working on something massive. I can't say anymore, right? Like
don't say it.
It's a tease.
It is a tease.
That was a tease.
Do y'all want to pick another number so we can give away a $25 gift card to y'all shop?
Is that my number this time?
Yeah, you're up.
See, you all picked 17 earlier. So 1 through 48.
1 through 48. 11.
Number 11. John B. Specht. And I'll get in contact with him for the $25 gift card.
Congrats, John.
Good job, John.
John's ordering all the time. I know he'll put that to use. We're sitting here and I'm getting an order like Justin Mitchner just ordered. Thanks, Justin.
Thank you, Justin.
Got all the stickers.
Oh, bless you. Jorge Lozoya asked, and this is kind of make sure I read this correctly. Like the great Stan Lee and Jack Kirby in the early days of comics, would use their art within the pages and covers of so many wonderful titles to give a glimpse of what was happening in the world during those days, and I'm assuming socially. If you haven't already done so, have you had any thoughts to do the same like as these great men and create a snapshot through your art of our current world? With the Scotty touch, I would love to see something like that for sure.
I mean, I haven't thought about that, but Megan just did a request yesterday for me to draw. We have a pretty interesting situation daily outside of our studio here. We're not too far from a liquor store. We are directly across the street from a funeral home, and our whole front wall is windows. And we are at the back of the funeral home, so we see.
I was looking to see if any bodies.
Yeah, we see bodies coming out of the back of vans, being carted into a garage door daily, multiple times, and it's not like. It doesn't look like a body. It's like, look at that guy's feet. That's being rolled in. So at first we were like, ugh. Now like 3.5 years later, we're like, hey, I wonder what his name is. We have a guy. We have a guy who I call the walking yoga smoker.
Oh.
He's always got like a full like sweatsuit on, sweatpants, and like a windbreaker or some sort of situation. He's carrying like a Gatorade bottle. That one hundo is not just Gatorade. He's smoking, but then about every 15 feet he stops, or sometimes he has coffee.
Yeah,
and he'll stop.
Not a Yeti of coffee,
a coffee
an
cup.
Open coffee mug.
So he'll stop or he'll cross, and then he'll set the cup down and start touching his toes and doing stretches and just doing like moves. But like in the middle of the road, we're not talking about like on a sidewalk. Like he's just, and then he puffs on it, then picks the cup back up, walks another 10 feet, crosses his legs, does a little shimmy.
You guys met Danny earlier.
Danny.
She pulls up
on the phone.
She talks so much. She comes
in and says hi to us, but right, she's got a million conversations because we're like Did she just say that to us?
She's also got 2 earbud conversations going on. Anyway, there's a lot of characters.
So Megan was like, I'd love you to draw at some point a snapshot of all of that together of the world like that we see kind of daily, kind of happening outside of our door, which is it's interesting. You wouldn't think it'd be that interesting, but dead bodies and drunk yoga smokers.
Yeah, and John had suggested that become a daily sketch. I mean, I think we all need to see what that looks like.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Andy Duso asked, and y'all probably see some of Andy's work on Facebook.
Yeah.
The remarks that he does on top of Scotty's books. But I'm learning to use the brush tips, and your video of you drawing the hobgoblin and Spidey has helped me so much. The unfinished line thing is like magic. You're the best, dude.
Oh, well, thank you very much. That's very kind.
Okay. Austin McKibben says, do you prefer your cover work or interior work when not creator owned?
I'm sorry, I don't know that.
I'm sorry, I butchered the question. I'm sorry.
I was like,
I'd made a note because I wanted to make sure I asked the question right, and I screwed it up anyway. Do you prefer cover work or interior work when it's not creator owned? There, sorry.
Oh, cover work, yeah. Okay. I mean, and interior work is a lot of interior work is really, really hard and takes forever. And like when you don't like own it and you're not gonna get, it's hard. It's a lot. Anyway, there you go.
I can imagine so. And his last part of it, with your love of hip hop and rap, who is your favorite wordsmith? And you've kind of touched on that a little bit, but he wanted to add, I'm a lyric fan myself, and I've been on a Chris Webby kick for 3 years. I've almost listened to everything new.
Chris Webby's pretty good. He's newer to me. Like I've kind of come into him in the last couple of years, but he's definitely definitely a skilled MC. I like him a lot. But anyway, Aesop Rock, I think, is like the best of that, and who I listen to the most. She's probably like,
I love it. I do love it. Yeah. I didn't know about his music at all.
Yeah, so that's my fave. Sorry, I'm chomping on a cough drop.
Oh, cough drop.
Oh, sorry. Don Thornburg asked, "Hey Scotty, I'm a 5th grade teacher, and as soon as we do anything art related, I always have those students who say they can't draw or do art, and then they are defeated before they start. Do you have any words of encouragement or advice for those kids who lack confidence in their art?"
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I mean, I go through this, and I've been through this with my youngest son, who really got into drawing and obviously has an image in his head of what he wants to get out. And he's done a great job of getting over this. But I just kind of let them know that we all still feel like that. It never goes away. So it doesn't mean that they're wrong. It just means that they're at the beginning of the journey. They're the beginning of the learning path, and that's what's supposed to be happening. They're right where they're supposed to be. Like not knowing what you're doing is the beginning, and doing it a lot and doing it over and over is how we learn what we're doing. So it's not about, I think, teaching them how to have confidence. It's just saying, accept every piece that you do as it's the best you that you are at that point. You know, it's like I used to beat myself up at the beginning of my career because I just could not draw as good as I wanted to be drawing, and this stuff was going out to the world, but it also was the best I had. Like, it's not like I was slacking or being lazy. It's just like I was not better than that at the time. And it took me thousands of hours of just repeating it to get there. So the thing that I say is don't worry about being good. Just worry about being. Just do it, and repeat it over and over and over. And eventually, my son came up here and he would get mad and throw a thing to the side. And when he came up to the studio, we'd show him my half-done drawings and that I threw, that I'd be like, fuck. I mean, Megan's heard me be like, my brush was too wet and the lines were gross. And I was like, throw it and I'm going to restart it. And I mean, that's going to happen forever. But I think just reminding that everything that we're doing is the best we can do at the moment, and we'll be better tomorrow. We'll be better the next day. We'll be better the next day. It's just keep at it. That's the main goal in life. I think everything in life is keep at it. Like, wake up, do it. Wake up, do it again. Wake up, do it again. That's the best we can do,
I think that's a great answer. I think I saw Don in the questions earlier, so hopefully he is able to hear that. Awesome. And last question from the Scotty Young art group.
All right.
I've got one after it, but we can sign off after my. But Carl Mercurio Jr. asked, do you prefer to write the story and let another one draw it, or let another artist draw it, draw another writer's story, or write and draw your own story? And he said, thank to Megan and John, thank you all for all you do all year long. So,
thanks.
I don't think I have a preference. I think the idea, it really depends on the idea. I definitely have a couple stories that I can only draw that I'll save for myself. But then there's stories that I know that I'm not the best one for it. It's like I could put my ego aside and say that I love this idea, but Jorge's skill set fits this better, or, whoever I see out there that think, man, I think based on what they do would fit this content better. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that I'm not, it just means I think the story will be serviced better by this person or that person. So I don't know that I have a preference based on what's more fun or what I enjoy more. It's just based on, my favorite thing is to tell a story. Like at the end of the day, did I convey a story? Sometimes if I draw it, the story that I wanted to tell, like Middle West would have not been what Middle West was had I drawn it. It probably would have been 4 issues and not 18. Would have been much smaller, a much tighter story. And I would have been way too up in my feelings about it to really expand and really dive into some of the crevices I was able to because of Jorge's help to take some of that emotional weight off of me while making it. Living up on a page, writing those scripts were hard enough sometimes, but living up in those pages again for days or weeks or months after would be way too hard for me to live in. Nobody would have wanted to be friends with me after those 2 years of making that book. So I think it's important to understand like when collaboration is needed and when it's okay to not feel like it has to all be about me, and let others shine and give other people a platform to really kick ass. And so I'm really lucky in my career to have built a platform that people like Jorge, people like Kyle, people like, all my other collaborators that I've worked with trust me to craft something that they're going to go off and spend months and months, if not years, working on. So yeah, it really just depends on the idea or the concept.
All right. Great answer. And before we get into my last question, if y'all could give me one more number so we can give away one more $25 gift card.
This one's you, Megan.
48.
What number? I'm sorry.
48.
48. Yes. Seth Traub has won the last $25 gift card.
Ooh.
And before I get to my last question for Scotty, I'm going to ask both of y'all. Y'all attend cons pretty frequently, but what's your all's favorite snacks for fans to bring to cons so we can try to load you up at the next
con?
Oh,
I like this one.
Oh.
Fucking A. This one's a good one.
Yeah, I'm into all.
I like Marlboro Reds. I'm just kidding. I don't smoke.
I would not work here if you smoked. I like all the gummy stuff that like doesn't get you messy.
Yeah, you're a gummy. I like hot tamales.
Oh, Justin brought us some crazy good popcorn that his wife made, actually.
Oh yeah, I like hot tamales, like nerds. I'm trying to think of like I can't have anything where my hands get messy.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. I love pizza. I'm just gonna have people start bringing us fucking pizzas. I did have people start bringing me Cinnamon Toast Crunch for a while. I didn't ask them to, but I talked about it on a podcast. And all of a sudden, people are bringing goddamn cereal to conventions.
Cereal's my favorite.
Yeah, you are a cereal person. That's from now on, Megan's gonna be back there with a bowl, getting after it.
I thought I'd try to help you out some on that one. That one was. I always like to see it when fans bring stuff to the artists and the reps. I want to make sure y'all get the right stuff brought to you. So.
It's always so sweet. Like it really is sweet when that happens because I guess I might be able to speak for Megan. I mean, we do come in here for years now and we're in this room, these rooms, and we're kind of doing the same thing. And it's easy for us to kind of get lost and feel a little removed from the outside world as far as this stuff really getting to you guys. Instagram's great. We love seeing that stuff. But then when we get to these cons and things like that happen, or somebody heard us on a live stream say we like this, or somebody brings a bottle of wine, or, you know, somebody pops up with a Diet Coke or whatever it is, it just feels like, oh man, like we're a part of a thing, and not just people who make stuff or ship stuff in a building, you know.
I love it when people introduce themselves in line. It reminds me just to stop and look up, because sometimes a whole day goes by and I'm just so doing transactions that it makes you stop and I'll find out somebody went through line but never said who they were, and I'm like, are you kidding? I could have met you and didn't get a chance to. And so you guys all need to stop and say your names, and we know who you are. We see your names on packages.
Megan also does a fair amount of cocaine, so if anybody wants to bring Coke. I'm kidding.
Oh man.
Don't do
it. On that note,
I'm totally kidding. Do not bring Megan cocaine, by the way. Don't do it.
I'll throw it.
She'll throw it away.
Oh, y'all are going to have an awkward situation at the next time.
No.
The little mirror and the little kids.
That's right. I'm a big Coke head.
Listen, let's give some background to the reason there's a Coke joke going on right now. There is a new wine bar that is in our neighborhood, just a block away. We love it. It's really nice. The owners are great. And in their bathrooms, they have beautiful bathrooms, and they have these joke signs. So they have feminine products in a box that says Shark Week. And they also had a little bathroom sign sitting on the sink that said, please don't do Coke in the bathroom.
Oh, God.
And somebody stole their signs. And so they were so mad that they started a GoFundMe for $30 to replace. But they just wanted to prove the point that it pissed them off so bad that you'd steal these clever bathroom signs. So Megan had pointed that out to us this morning, that they did that. So we all donated to I think they're probably about $500 for their $30 goal. But that's why I made a Coke joke. Megan doesn't do Coke, just meth.
All right. Last question I got. This is just for my own curiosity, but I was watching something on Instagram, and you know those silly I'm not a TikTok person, believe it or not, but like a little video popped up, and then someone was like, 100 years from now, you're not going to be living in your house. Everything about you is going to be forgotten. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was pretty much saying live for today, and it was kind of depressed me at first. But I was thinking, somebody like Scotty's in a really unique position where 100 years from now, I mean, your stuff's probably. Your name's going to be known. They may not know you personally, your personality, but I mean, you're going to be remembered based upon your comics work, your image work, and boom, all this different legacy that you're creating here. So 100 years from now, when someone does mention the name Scotty Young, what do you want people to think of?
Oh man, that's a big one. It's going to make me cry over here, Dustin.
I asked a legacy question today.
Yeah. Oh, it's such an interesting thing because
he's touching his face. That means he's stressed.
No, it is an interesting question because anytime you're working on a thing, you don't know you're working on that thing, right? Like I'm working on a project right now, and Megan asked today, she asked a question about my approach to it, and I was like, well, I don't know, and she was like, well, is this like your definitive kind of moment, like the legacy of this thing? And I was like, yeah. Oh, and my answer was like, I don't think so. I think it's a job. Because that's what my brain is always thinking while I'm making a thing. It's just, I went to California a week ago and hung out with my friend Scott Mosier, who produced Clerks and all of Kevin Smith's, a bunch of Kevin Smith's movies. And we talked about that idea of it's not like they knew they were making Clerks while they were making Clerks. They were making their first movie. So it's interesting. I'm almost more, I don't know what I still have to make. It's always the interesting thing, right? I got the Art of Scotty Young book, whatever, the Marvel Art of Scotty Young. They asked me all these questions, and they kind of asked me a similar thing. I was like, I don't know. I'm not done yet. You know what I mean? I'm still doing it. I guess it's more fun for me to hear from you guys what you think. Like if tomorrow fucking yoga coke smoker or whatever guy decided I looked at him wrong and I was no more, I guess like it'd be more interesting for me. We're dark.
Gosh.
Well, we are across from a funeral home. There is some dark humor that goes on.
I know.
It's more interesting for me to hear what everybody else thinks of that question. It's hard for me to answer it myself because it feels like a very arrogant thing to answer. Like, here's what I'd like you to know about me. I enjoyed Mountain Dew from the years blank to, I don't know. It's an odd thing to think about, something I want people to know about when I'm all done, when I'm gone. Dustin, what would you remember me for?
I just think that you both are very kind and for taking the time to do something like this. So I think more than a legacy of what you're creating, it's the company that you all have created together. It's going to be a legacy of a great person and a great people between you and Megan and John and all the people that work there. It'd be easy to start mentioning some of your property. I Hate Fairyland would probably be the easy answer for me to give, just because it's kind of taken a life on its own. But getting to know both of you all and the fans that are out here asking questions and the ones in the group that kind of see the people behind the artist and the people behind the business manager, and that you all are actual people, that you all are real people, and you take the time to do stuff like this and to interact with fans. I think that helps create a legacy that lives on long more than a Spider-Man variant cover or something like that. So that's great. What people will remember.
That's great to hear. I know Megan will know when I say this is very true. When I say this, it means a lot to me to hear that right now with a lot of conversations that we've had. So it's very sweet of you to say that. And I really appreciate it. And I'm sure Megan does.
I sure do.
All right. Well, thank you all very much for taking. I didn't mean for this to take over 2 hours of your night, but the groups appreciate it. I appreciate it. And
it was great.
It's been awesome.
I'm glad we were able to make it through all the questions for you, buddy.
This will live over on Scotty's YouTube channel. So people that missed it can go watch it there.
Yep.
And thank you all. And I'll be sure and share this. And like I said, I'm going to make sure and share the Around Comics podcast, because Scotty, I know you're like, don't do it.
Just share it away, Dustin.
One of the first lines I heard you say on there was, I'm a genius. And I thought, there's Scotty. That's Scotty.
Yeah, I was definitely overcompensating for some insecurities back then, probably, for sure. And not realizing that everything you say is fucking recorded. So it's great.
And will live
it's just great
forever.
God damn it.
Thank you all very much. Thank you all once again.
Thanks, Dustin.
Thank you, Dustin. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. All right, hold on. Let me end stream.